It's time for us to make a big push here on the black turbo fox body. We got a lot of good parts to put in, got a drive line to assemble, and we're trying to get this 387 stroker fired up. So stick around, we got some new stuff to the channel, and we got a lot of work to do. Let's get busy. First things first, we got to get the TKX out of the box. This is probably one of the first 327 units that came out in 2021 from Hanlon Motorsports. We're going to go ahead and get it on the ground over here, and we're going to make sure it's still full of oil before we stick it up on the jack and get ready to install it here. So this is just a standard Tremec TKX out of the box, 18085. We put about 1,000 wheel torque on this a number of times with this car. Never had an issue with it. We ran a 978, 72 at 147. We were the first ones into the 9. So this is like one of the original OG ones that first came out when they first started making them. So what I'm gonna do here is pop open the fill plug, look inside to make sure my oil level is full. That way we can just go ahead and install it and not have to worry about the fluid. This is a Hanlon Motorsports shifter base that we had bought. It's one of the short throats. It's one of the only ones that made for the TKX. Really nice shifter base. I'm gonna have cousin Paul kind of level that out a little bit. We're gonna look at the fluid level. Oh, that's good. That's just the synchro mesh. Yep, it's definitely still full. So when I broke this transmission in, I broke it in with Dex 3, stuff that you can get at the parts store. And after about 100 miles and a couple, 200 or 300 miles, wasn't it? It was quite a few. Then we switched it over. We did a whole video on it, but we switched it over to synchro mesh, the Pennzoil or whatever that yellow bottle was. Tremec actually has their own fluid. That's pretty good fluid too for these transmissions for the T56 and the TKX. Here on the channel, we've been running the McLeod RXT 1200 HD for a number of years now. We're on the same clutch in our white turbo fox body that we do a lot of no prep stick shift racing with. Our black turbo fox body used to have the 363 stroker in it that made about 800 wheel horsepower, just under 1,000 torque. And what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna actually show you what the clutch looks like after about 3 years. So you can get this McLeod RXT HD 1200 in a box. It's a shelf clutch, it's a diaphragm clutch, it's a twin disc, definitely rated at the numbers that you see here in my black car. And this is actually a rebuilt unit that we've sent back probably twice now. And this is after about 3 years and probably 8 or 10,000 street miles. You can get these clutches for about 1,000, 1,200 bucks or so. You can see the wear on it, but I mean, it looks in really good condition. Here's the floater plate. Again, this was behind a 363 stroker. Like I said, about 8,000 street miles. Here's the bottom disc. Got a little more wear on it than normal. We're just gonna reinstall this. It's perfectly fine. Look at that flywheel, clean. We're just gonna reinstall it. You know, not too bad after 3,500 pound car as well. So we did the same type of small short video. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, we beat the shit out of these clutches. And I definitely wouldn't be here showing you if I didn't think that this would fit pretty much anything under 1,000 horsepower wheel, or even at that. We made a similar video. We took the clutch out of the 408 stroker when it had been in there for like 3.5 years and had like 150 track passes. Just wanted to show you what the clutch looked like before we actually put it back here in the black turbo fox body. First things first is I got to get a pilot bearing in, and this is obviously not the right size. This is obviously a 351. As you can tell, the 302 and 351 is a little bit different. We're going to go ahead and get that installed. Shouldn't take too long. You can always tell when you got the rear main seated, because it makes like a metal noise all the way around. Let's see the flywheel, see if I can get lucky with a flywheel like that too. I almost screwed this up, boys. My 363 and my 408 are zero balance, so we have to put a weight on here to make it 28. When we built this 387, we had to actually balance from the balancer for the external balance, whatever you want to call it. So this is 28. This whole thing is balanced to a 28 ounce flywheel. Actually grab a weight that we have in the back. I think it's McLeod. This is the other McLeod spare flywheel that we have, and this is a 28 ounce. This is a 50 ounce. That would be on like a normal 302 and running zero. That's one thing I like about the McLeod flywheel, is it has removable weights, much like the trick flow balancers that we use all the time has removable weight. And I'm glad I caught that before we ended up installing it, because then you would get a crazy imbalance and your motor would be flopping all over the place. 28 ounce, which is most of your 351 Windsors and a lot of your 347s, 331s, any sort of like stroker assembly. If you can get your engine zero balance, it definitely helps with the life of the engine and the longevity. Let's see if we can get lucky lining this up now. Next. Bottom disc and the floater plate, and we're gonna need the alignment tool. So we can brake clean a bunch of this stuff and just go ahead and just reinstall it again. This is the bottom disc, flywheel side. So I got the bottom, which the pins will line up. Oh, these, I think I bought these. All right, flywheel side, top plate, my disc. All right, we're nice and, yeah, I'm not worried about that coming out really. Now I gotta line my markings up. Blue here, blue here. You could put this one of 3 different ways with the McLeod. If you lose your marks, you just make sure that these springs are lined up. See it? Spring and spring. Okay. All right, we got most of the bell housing ready. Now we're ready to put the transmission in. It's a really heavy bell housing, but it's heavy duty for a reason. We got a couple things new that we're installing today, and you can get a chance to check them out here in a second. One thing you don't want to forget is the centering ring. Like some of these bell housings actually come with a centering ring. So we're about to put this TKX in, and we almost forgot to put this on. If that, it wouldn't center it and index it correctly. It's like an indexing ring, you want to call that. Yeah, indexing your bell housing definitely helps the car shift better. All right, here we go. Go ahead. That works so good. You see that? Engage the clutch.
Right there.
Boom, there it is.
I ain't got no weight.
I lined it the best I could without being able to see. So.
You might have to, there's a slotted, so you might have to.
I know.
I've done this, I don't know how many times. This is actually a small transmission compared to the other ones.
That's a lightweight.
This is a lightweight. This is a baby.
That's a lightweight.
So big shout out to Tom Clark and Stiflers for sending us some much needed upgrades. And this is prime time to put this stuff in. As you guys are gonna be able to see us installing it here, see how pretty much easy this is. There's a lot of really cool stuff here. Okay, we pretty much got the drive shaft safety loop ready to go to install, which is right here, the part number DSL M02. So now we're gonna work on the cross member here. The Stifler one comes pretty much fully adjustable, as these pins actually move back and forth. And it also comes with the spacers for the pinion angle, transmission cross member bolts, and of course these are the plastic bushings that you can adjust with, which is exactly what we're gonna do. So we're gonna put the loop in, and we're gonna put the new mount that they sent us here, the energy suspension. And then at that point, we'll be able to actually put the cross member in, and we'll be able to actually adjust it to center the transmission mount. Real easy to do, real good stuff for your foxbody Mustang as far as upgrading. The thing I wanted to show you guys here, especially on this foxbody Mustang, is see how bent up this transmission mount gets. This is like the underneath, like the floor pan area. If you're fabricating on your car, this is always a good spot to stick some tack welds and kind of clean this up a little bit, as it gets a lot of torque over the years and gets pretty bent up. And it's only a couple spot welds, so that's definitely a safety concern when you start. Cross member, part number is TCB M09. Now, not every cross member has that number. This is specific for a TKX, TKO, AOD, T5, etc. But there's a different one for a T56 and several other builds. But Stiflers has that on their website. Not a big deal. All right, you hold that loop, Chief. Just goes right in between the mount and the transmission itself. Also acts like a spacer for like pinion angle that we were just talking about. Easy peasy. We used to have the whole drive shaft loop we had to drill into our floor, and I mean it was adjustable too, and it was a nice piece, but it started getting in our way. It actually chewed up one of my drive shafts a little bit. So next, cross member in and kind of figure out where we want it to sit. Looks like that one goes in the front, so this shorter one and the wider one goes to the back. That puts it pretty much center. So pretty easy, we'll just make adjustments. I knew it was going to be pretty tight, but that's a good fit. Look at the fitment of that on a half bent ass car. That's a pretty good alignment set. So all we got to do is lock it down. Some of the best stuff you're gonna get for your fox body Mustang when it comes to transmission mount and safety loop. All right, we're gonna go ahead and stick this drive shaft in now. Guys, always check your splines, especially on your little cast iron unit. You know, these splines do get warped and do get twisted quite a bit.
Might make a little bit of a mess, but that's okay.
We got the drive shaft in. Go ahead and spin the drive shaft. You can see how much clearance it has with the stiflers. It looks really good. All right, guys, that's pretty much all I got for you for this video. I just wanted to do another update video, getting the drive line in. We installed a couple parts like the McLeod twin disc, probably one of the most reliable clutches that I've ever ran in any of my cars. We got some small things to do underneath of the car, which I'm not gonna do here on the video. Hood sits okay, I'm happy with the way it is. Just getting my shit off the jack stands, just like we talked about here on the channel. You guys enjoy this sort of video, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, let me know what you think. Check out that join button for exclusive content to the channel for the members of the channel. Appreciate you guys. Outside of that, I just appreciate you watching. See you soon in the next one.